I'm Kaylee, and today we're going to be doing projections of the orbits. This is Bailey. She's going to be my patient. So to start off, when you do a projection of the orbits, you usually prefer a non-grid technique. So like the lateral nasal bones, we would just pull this out. But since that's not an option in every imaging facility, we're just going to go ahead and use the grid today. So with the lateral projection of the orbits, I'm going to have Bailey oblique her body and put her head in a lateral position. So I would just tell her, kind of move your body against this board right here and turn your head to the side. So I'm going to make sure her IPL is perpendicular to the image receptor and that her IOML is running parallel to the image receptor. And so I want to line that up with the center of my board, and I want the outer canthus to be in the center. My central ray is going to be perpendicular running through the outer canthus. So I'm going to line it up a little bit higher. Scoot forward for me just a little bit. So if we look right at Bailey, we can see that her IPL is perpendicular and her IOML is parallel. Line up my Bucky. And then we're going to collimate down to the supraorbital margin and the infraorbital margin. I'm going to tell her to look ahead and keep her eyes as still as possible. So find a point on the wall and stare at it. And I'm going to mark the side down. Sorry. And then we're going to keep her as still as possible. And when she's looking at that point on the wall, I'm going to tell her to hold her breath, and then I'm going to shoot. Beep. All right, you can relax. So the next projection I got is the PA axial. And so I'm going to make a caudal angle of 30 degrees with my tube. Bring that down to 60. We're going to center the IR at the nasion, and we're going to make nasion, and then we're going to make sure her OML is perpendicular. We're going to rest her forehead and nose on the Bucky so that her OML is perpendicular. And we're going to bring this down, centering out the nasion. And the IR should exit, or the central ray should exit 3/4 of an inch distal to the nasion. I'm going to tell her to close her eyes and hold them as still as possible. And then I'm going to tell her to hold her breath. So hold your breath, close your eyes, keep them as still as possible, shoot, beep. All right, you can breathe and relax. And my last projection is the, let's see here, modified waters. So we're gonna have her rest the chin on the board. We're going to make sure her MSP is perpendicular, and we're going to adjust the neck so the OML forms an angle of 50 degrees with the plane of the IR. So OML, that's about 50 degrees. And we're going to exit the acanthion on this one. And we're only going to have a 15-degree angle. Actually, it's going to be perpendicular. I'm sorry, I lied. We're going to collimate in to get the orbits. supraorbital margin, infraorbital margin. Gonna make sure she's centered. And I'm gonna have her close her eyes, hold them still, and hold her breath, and then breathe and relax. And that's the projections of the orbits.